Last on my list for Cubs topics, we have to talk about our first aesthetics of the year. As the Cubs took CubsCon as an opportunity to release their brand new Electric Blues third uniform. These actually replace the previous Nike City Connect Wrigleyville uniforms that we ripped on pretty well. They're okay, but they're convoluted, and I didn't think they looked that great. It didn't look like a Cubs team to me. The navy blue didn't quite work. I think those have been retired officially, so we don't have to talk about those ever again. These new blues, electric blues uniforms. I'm curious to get your thoughts on. You've got the whole description there, which
sure
is always
do.
fun for us to go through. But essentially, it's a powder blue jersey, kind of a throwback look. It's definitely a throwback look with a hat, with a white front, blue brim, blue 2/3 of the back, with a new logo that's inspired by the Chicago blues music heritage. Kind of a throwback look towards kind of influenced by like electric guitar company logos like Gibson or Fender, or potentially amp logos like Marshall. I guess I won't. I'll give you my rating after we're done talking about it. But what do you want to read the description, or do you want to give your thoughts?
Um, you know, I
It's up
think
to
the
you.
jersey. I mean, I think the jersey. No, I'm getting my thoughts. I think the jersey's fine. Like, I don't hate it. I think it's better than the Wrigleyville jersey. I
Yeah,
always like the powder blue. They're calling it baby blue. The
they
baby
call
blue
it baby
jersey.
blue. I've called it electric blue,
Yeah,
and it's definitely powder blue. Powder blue. It's interesting. If you look, I was almost going to do an aesthetic segment just about powder blue uniforms throughout baseball,
yeah.
back probably during COVID when we were trying to come up with subjects to talk about. But I looked into that a little bit. The Cubs were actually the first to wear powder blues back in 1941. So they're the pioneers of it, but they didn't wear it for very long. They returned in 1970 with like seemed like half the majors started wearing powder blue uniforms on the road. And I never understood like why that happened. Every team, the White Sox even had a powder blue uniform, didn't they?
Yeah, in the 70s, when they had the red striped jerseys,
Yeah,
their alternate uniform was powder blue.
yeah. I mean, the Cardinals had it. The Blue Jays, of course, Phillies, Kansas
Yeah,
City. Everybody had it for a while. I think it was up to like 10 or 11 clubs throughout baseball had them at one point in its peak. And I learned why that happened. It was the advent of the newfangled color television inspired that, because the Blues showed up better on the TV than gray uniforms, and people were really fired up about color TV back in the 70s.
nice.
So that's where that came from. I always wondered that, and it kind of died out throughout the 70s into the 80s, and it was pretty much gone. Now it's a cool throwback thing, but these definitely give me thoughts of Montreal Expos immediately. I think everyone sees that right away. There's slight differences, but at the same time, it definitely looks like a Chicago Cubs uniform, which I appreciate. I didn't think the Wrigleyville uniforms did at all. Um, so that part I definitely like. All right, let's go through the
All right.
descriptive copy,
All
which is
right.
always
Here
hilarious.
we go. We'll start with the lead in. The Chicago Cubs blue alternate uniform pays tribute to the team's history and Chicago's contribution to the electric blues movement that shaped music worldwide.
Mm.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I think that's a solid. I almost think this may have been an alternative concept idea that maybe Nike pitched when they were talking about the City Connects. Like they could have used this instead of that Wrigleyville neighborhood idea. Like this could have
right.
been it. This might have been Plan B if they hadn't gone with those. So it's almost like they realized that wasn't executed or as popular as they thought they would be, and this is certainly a connection with the city of Chicago and the history of Chicago, the blues. I think that's cool. I like that idea.
This is the first time since '81 that they'll be wearing a baby blue jersey on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullet one. You already mentioned this, but the hat and jersey chest patch feature a new logo that merges the details from the Blues era Cubs uniform with inspiration from music instrument brands. I also doesn't the C sort of remind you of the Negro League C
Yeah.
that they used? I thought that right away when I saw it. In fact, when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, they're doing like an alternate Negro League jersey to pay homage to
Yeah.
something, but that wasn't the case. But
Well, but there's been several different Cubs C logos over the
yeah,
decades. There's been several that kind of look like that, and they've definitely borrowed from the Negro Leagues uniforms too. So I can
uh,
see that.
the sleeve patch features custom lettering on a guitar pick divided by an electric bolt, symbolizing
Yeah,
Chicago's legacy as the birthplace of the electrified blues.
I like that too.
The jersey's custom numerals and nameplate take cues from the blues era typography.
I'm all about
Um,
typography.
and the socks pay tribute to the iconic blues anthem Sweet Home Chicago and feature a 6-string guitar stripe.
Oh
So
yeah,
there,
it's like 6 stripes around the socks.
yeah, and then
That's
and then
that's
Sweet Home Chicago is stitched with a lightning bolt underneath it.
gotta have Sweet Home Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
It's
Like
common. It's mainly it's the powder blue color, baby blue with royal blue and red accents and some white. So
and honestly, I read this list, I look at the jersey, there's nothing that's reaching. There's nothing
yeah,
like you don't even need to read this to get it. Like if you
yeah.
look at this
Well, and that's
jersey, you're like, "Oh, that looks like a guitar pick." And like some of these things we've read over the years, you're like, "What? Are you fucking kidding me?" Like the
yeah,
little dots represent the dots that are on the bottom of the ocean in San Francisco, whatever. I was like, "What?"
yeah,
Like
yeah. That
this
no one would
this
ever understand.
this to me just makes sense. I think it's a cool looking jersey. Like I don't have any.
That's a
I think it's a
that's a
move. I
basic.
think step forward from the Wrigleyville jersey for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting because I was ready to make fun of that whole description. I hadn't read it in a while, but there's really nothing to make fun of. There's no false pretense. There's no
Yeah, there's
bullshit.
nothing.
It's just kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious stuff, which
Yeah,
the basic tenet of good design is it should just be self-evident. You just see it and it makes sense. You don't have to explain it. So if you have
right.
to explain what's going on, you've made a mistake in your design. And I don't think they
Yeah,
have.
no.
I think if it comes down to it, I'm giving it 2 middle fingers up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm giving it 2 middle fingers up too. I when you sent it to me, I was like, eh. Like I said, first look at first, I thought, oh, this is they're doing some sort of tribute to the Negro Leagues or something. But it is definitely a heritage type jersey of the African American community. So that's kind of cool. So that could have been maybe a little bit a part of it too. So
I
um,
just wish these were the City Connect uniforms all along.
yeah,
They
exactly.
could have just kept these forever. So, but wrong is righted. I like it. I think this is unprecedented. I don't remember the last time we gave 4 full middle fingers up for anything.
Yeah, there was something last year. There was a City Connect we really liked. I don't remember which one. Definitely was in San Diego. But
I like that one.
anyway.
Word Hole Media.